on NDI?
Yep.
Is it working? There we go. We're growing the YouTube page, and of course, we're also on Facebook and Instagram, streaming this live on X, and our audio version on iTunes and Spotify. If you ever want to reach out to us,
Audience has no audio. Oh, that's what it has in the chat, at least.
we're good to go? All right. Does the audio work?
Now, Cooper Steeples says it's working.
It is working now. We missed the intro. That's okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want to reach out to us, contact us. Our email addresses are listed on the screen, and you can email us, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Tonight's show, we're going to start with Class 1A and move to 4A by the end of the night. The goal time is 2 hours or less, and we'll see how that goes here. But we are going to cover every single state qualifying meet site across the state, both genders, 1A to 4A. So, with that being said, we ready for our special guest?
Big time celebrity guest picker.
Come on over. So, we thought we'd have fun with this first time live for this episode. We've got a special guest here. What's your name? What's your name? Is it Jobei? Jobei. Okay. Jobei's going to make 5 hard picks. Kyle, what do you have first? Okay, you got to listen.
What class do you want me to start with?
Big Suey.
1A.
Pig Suey. All right.
Okay. All right.
Class 1A. We'll give you an easy one.
Ready, listen.
Jessup or Cresco?
Crystal.
Cresco.
Is that girls or boys?
That is girls.
Okay.
This is a nice tease for what's to come later. All right. 2A boys. Sheldon, Van Meter, or Red Oak?
Red Oak.
Big
All
Red Oak
right,
guy.
you're a big Red Oak fan. Okay. I've got a couple for you, too. In Class 3A, for the girls, Marion or CPU?
Up CPU.
CPU. All right. All right, you want two more? And these folks are the hardest ones we found. We think that are going to be the closest to who goes to state and who doesn't. 4A boys, Kennedy, Liberty, or Senior?
Senior.
Senior. You liked Liberty in our practice run. Okay, last one. You ready for the hardest one? This time you got to pick two teams. Tri-Center, ACGC, IKM, or Panorama. Pick two. Girls.
Banana.
Banana, and one more.
Apple.
Apples and bananas. Okay. All right. Do you have any ones that you want to do?
Ask the audience. What's the one on your shirt?
Pig Stewie.
Against who?
Okay.
Pig Suey or the Hawkeyes?
There's our question of the week. Pig Suey or the Hawkeyes?
Pig Stewie.
All right. Thanks
He
for
goes
joining
Pig
us,
Suey.
Joe Bay.
Nice job.
Here, take your headphones. All right.
Joel, you better watch out. You might be replaced soon.
Joel, after last week, you never know. We might be putting Joe Bay back there for picks. All right.
I think that's a good reminder. Yes, it's stressful time of year, but it's a good to keep it light, have some fun. Thank you for doing that.
This cord is really dangling tonight. I'm sorry. All right. Conference meets last week. I wish we could go and highlight many of the great conference championships, Kyle, but we have to get this episode rolling. We're going to try to highlight some of those throughout the way tonight. But great week of conference meets. So many outstanding performances, both individually and as teams. Really geared up for the championship season.
Absolutely. It keeps getting into the best time of year. We're ready for it. Excited to showcase many different teams in many different classes.
And let's look here. We have a couple of announcements. I flew through those. I'm sorry. Can we go back to those, Christian? Okay. So, just a reminder to coaches out there, the fall meeting will be November 17th at 9 a.m. at Waukee Northwest High School. And that'll be an in-person meeting, but this year we will be providing a live stream, just like our podcast is live streamed on YouTube. The coaches meeting will be live streamed as well. So if you're unable to make it or you're from one of the far corners, you can sit at the friendly confines of your house and tune into the meeting. Also, there is no senior all-star meet. Wanted to make sure and remind you of that. It is canceled for this year. And then our upcoming schedule is on the screen. Reminder that the next 3 weeks here, we're on the 21st. Right now, the next 3 weeks will be 7 p.m. on Monday night here on the Exchange Zone. So make sure you mark that in your calendars. Monday nights for the next 3 weeks. Should we ready? All right, let's get to 1A. Here we go. Look at that.
Jeez.
When you see that, it gives me a little anxiety when you try to get ready for that. But the one thing I'm going to say, the competition this year in 1A, I think from top to bottom, has been as good as it's been since we've been doing this.
I think so too. I think when you first look at it, you're like, man, these teams aren't as good because there's so much parity, but I think it's the exact opposite. Like you talked about, teams have gotten better, which has made it that good competition that you look for, and the reason why it is a little overwhelming for us this week diving into it when we don't follow 1A as closely all year.
And what made it harder for me is there's so many quality teams that have a chance here, and you're going to see that here as we go through these. It's not just 2 teams.
No.
There are some sites that have 6 or 7 possible teams that could take those top 2 spots in 1A.
Agreed. And like Madison talked about the other week, that some of these teams just get some surprise kids out of nowhere. It's impossible to factor that stuff in, too. So you have no idea We'll give it our best shot. I think we've done some pretty good homework and should at least highlight the teams that are in contention. We might be wrong on some of our picks, but
And that's where we'll start. We can't do every team in every class. So we're going to go to ACGC first. And the girls on this one, in the 1A, we're going to go girls and boys, same site. It'll change when we get to 2A to 4A. But on the girls, Kyle, you've got ACGC as the ranked team, number 7, along with number 9, Panorama. Those two teams are the only ranked teams here in the region. Joining them in contention are Tri-Center, IKM Manning, and Boyer Valley as a definite outside chance there with Boyer Valley. Couple things to note here. ACGC and Panorama have gone at it a few times this year. I believe ACGC has been ahead of them every time. You've got Tri-Center and IKM who are trying to play spoiler here as the non-ranked team. IKM Manning 4th at the Western Iowa Conference Championships, 9 points behind Tri-Center. Both IKM and Tri-Center have beaten Panorama different times this year. So you have the two unranked teams here. You've got the ranked teams. Who are you taking as your two to move on to Fort Dodge?
I think this is one of those you run it 10 times and you're going to have different qualifiers each time. But I'm going to go ACGC and IKM to play spoiler.
ACGC and IKM in that order. Is this one of our NDIs?
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Should have done that before I made my pick.
They're trying to get it on the screen. There it is. We have the 1A girls here. I'm going to make my pick before this comes up. I'm actually going to go with Tri-Center to win the meet.
Nice.
And ACGC to get second. Quincy Schlinkloth of Tri-Center 6th at their conference championship. They have 3 freshmen in their top 5 for Tri-Center, and they just got one of them healthy, which has boosted their team. I like Tri-Center to win, ACGC to make it on their home course.
All right.
And here's the forecasted scores, and it is ever so tight. Look at those scores. 2 teams make it. We're looking at a 15-point spread from 1 to 4. All right. Thank you, Joel, for doing that.
Good one to start with.
On the boys' side in ACGC, you also have a similar setup. You've got 2 preferred teams in Tri-Center and ACGC at number 11 and 13. St. Albert of Council Bluffs is ranked 20th, so we have 3 ranked teams here. And then you've got IKM Manning as the 3rd possible team. Tri-Center coming off a Western Iowa Conference runner-up finish. They're led by a really good freshman in Haven Weirs. I see this one pretty simple, though, Kyle. I think it's Tri-Center and ACGC. Parker Heisterkamp from St. Albert's will be in the top 1 or 2 here, but I think the team depth of those 2 teams will put them to Fort Dodge.
Yeah, maybe St. Albert in that mix with IKM, but I agree with you. It's those 2. Moving on.
All righty, let's move on to the next one. That'll be in Central Decatur. And in this girls' race, you've got Trainer. I think this Trainer team is really good. I think they have a chance to podium. They're ranked 5th. They've been 4 or 5 all year. They're the Western Iowa Conference champions. Their top 5 runners are very solid, led by a freshman, Madeline Kirkman. Coach Charlie Hempel, has done a really good job with this Trainer team. Logan Magnolia, the other team here, ranked 11th, Western Iowa Conference runners-up. They could go 1 and 2 here with Johansson and Sporer, but I like that Trainer pack to swallow up the rest of the points. I'm going Trainer and Logan Magnolia to move on here. Also, watch out for Woodbine. 12 back last week to Logan Magnolia at Boyer Valley. That tells me they have a chance. But in this field, it looks like, for me, those 2 teams will move.
Yeah, maybe Missouri Valley too, or Mo Valley. But I agree with you. Trainer and Logan Magnolia should be the 2 that move on.
And on the boys' side, this is one of the really good 1-2 battles here. Because I think Woodbine and Riverside both have podium aspirations next week in Fort Dodge. Riverside is running as well as anyone in 1A right now. They're coming off a Western Iowa Conference championship. They go 1-2 in that meet. Dawson Henderson and Brody Henderson, possibly twins.
Same grade.
Same grade.
All right.
And then Owen Feener has been huge for Cal Riverside, right?
Highland
Riverside.
No, Oakland.
Why do I think it's Cal?
There's a Riverside.
Oakland?
Well, there's a college like California
I
Riverside
don't
or
know.
something in there.
Anyways, this Riverside team, Kyle, just beat Woodbine, I believe.
I think you're right on that.
They have a 2-1 advantage this year over Woodbine. So in 3 competitions, Riverside's won 2. I'm going Riverside and Woodbine. Woodbine, obviously, with Gunnar Wagner, 17th last year at the state meet. He'll help keep this deep team in the mix. I don't think it matters who wins this one. I think both are going to be in a really good position to be top 5 next week.
I agree with you on that next week, and that there's really not any teams that are going to give these two a challenge. They should walk through pretty easily. Anything can happen, but these are the 2 that I would bet to move on.
Yeah. Central Springs. Let's go to Central Springs. On the girls' side, you'll see the number 1 ranked team, Madrid, now coming off of an upset. They get taken down at their conference meet by Earlham, 14 points behind Earlham in this one. And then there's going to be a huge competition for second here. We'll talk more about Madrid next week as we prepare for the state meet. But I want to focus our attention on St. Ed's of Fort Dodge and Wapsie Valley Fairbank. St. Ed's 4th at the North Central Conference meet. They've been without Anna Lurson, who's a girl we've talked tons about over the last couple of years on our podcast. She has not ran since September. I haven't heard anything of you.
No, and I think they're probably a top 8 team with her. She, that's a big game changer, not having her.
And then with Wapsie Valley, you've got a team that was 6th in the North Cedar Conference, very tough conference there. But they're led by a freshman, Adeline Kane. I talked to their coach a couple weeks ago, just a freshman, as I said, 4th in this conference meet. She has gotten better every meet. She started running like 22, 23. She's down to low 20s now. They've just slowly kind of progressed her, and she's had a great year for Wapsie Valley. These 2 teams, we were looking before the show, match up almost identical. The only difference is that Kane might be the low stick that St. Ed's doesn't have without Lurson. So with that, I'm going to go with Madrid and Wapsie Valley to advance out of this region.
That's a good pick, and especially in meets like these where there might be a lot of non-scoring teams. There's less kids in there for Wapsie Valley to push back from 1 to 2. So that might hurt Wapsie Valley and give St. Ed's a little bit of an advantage. I'll go opposite. I'll go St. Ed's. I think
going a lot of opposite early on.
I think they turn it around this week. This is the only one so far, besides the first one with ACGC, only one so far. But I'll go Madrid and St. Ed's. Good to see Mila Grothus back for Madrid right now. See what she can get done. And Madrid's state title or podium hopes with next week as well. But Madrid, St. Ed's for me.
And we're trying to get this on the screen, the forecast from Cross Country Ratings. We're working on that. There we go. And the computer model has Wapsie Valley. What's that say?
38 for Madrid, 97,
Joel,
99.
you can read those if you want. So we have trouble seeing.
Yeah, so it's got Madrid at 38, Wapsie Valley Fairbank at 97, then a close 99 for St. Edmund Fort Dodge.
Hey,
and there's your St. Ansgar team.
That's right. Don't count them out.
All right.
You know what? I'm going St. Ansgar.
Wow. Going with St. Ansgar to come in and pull the upset.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the boys. And this is all classes, one of the most up for grabs sites. You've got Lake Mills, the defending champs. We'll talk more about them next week. Top of Iowa runner-up team last week. And then you have 4 teams with a chance for one spot. St. Ed's of Fort Dodge, North Central Conference runner-up. Anthony Vallis running very well for the Gales. Newman Catholic, 5th at the top of Iowa Conference. North Butler, 4th at the top of Iowa Conference. And North Iowa Buffalo Center, 6th at the top of Iowa Conference. So North Butler, of those three, North Butler, Newman, and North Iowa has the advantage. North Butler in front. But there's St. Edmunds lurking.
Yep.
Where do you go with this one? North Iowa Buffalo Center, obviously with Gavin Grunhove, probably the winner in this one.
Yeah, those three have, and that's going to be a good battle with Lake Mills top 3 and him. But, those three schools have battled each other all year many times. I'm going to go Lake Mills, obviously, to win, and I'll go North Butler, play surprise, and get second here.
And I'm going Lake Mills and St. Ed's. St. Ed's has a really solid top 3 core.
Mm-hmm.
As with most 1A teams, 4 and 5 sometimes is up in the air, so I'm going to say that those 3 from St. Ed's propel them in front of those other teams.
All right.
All right, we're moving on.
North Lynn, is that one me?
Yeah.
All right. You got your pieces of paper. I have about 18 different tabs open here. So North Lynn, we'll start with the girls. Starts with South Wynn, currently ranked number 3, Upper Iowa Conference champs. I thought their best race of the year, taking down 2A, number 20 MFL. They're led by Ava Franzen, likely going to get them to Fort Dodge. 2 competitors in the mix, I think, for second place. Maquoketa Valley being one of them. It will be a great battle with Cascade, who I'll get to next. They've battled all year, most recently Mac Valley getting them by 15 points. Cascade has got them once early in the year, but it has been close every single time. Cascade, who I just talked about, coming in ranked 19th, Mac Valley 16th, so on paper very close. I think Mac Valley's 3 through 5 need to, or Cascade needs to break up Maquoketa Valley's 3 through 5 in order to have a shot. Any other teams that you see potentially playing spoiler here, or between those 3, who do you have moving on?
I don't think so. I'm anxious to see South win. And it's a team that we always, at this time of the year, wonder what's going to happen. Are they progressing? It's been a slower progression this year. We haven't seen that big drop, 1 to 5. But no, I think I'm going to go with, I like Mac Valley to take that last spot.
Got to go to my other tab. As do I, according to my spreadsheet. Me too. Southwind, Mac Valley, moving on. Cascade with a great shot, though, to take down Maquoketa Valley. Over to the boys, it starts with the Tri-Rivers champs. Springville, quietly, I think, have had an outstanding season and put themselves in the top 10. They are a very balanced team led by Jack Stamp.
Heck of a name.
It is a heck of a name, yes, sir. Coming in, the second-ranked team on paper at ranked number 12 is Columbus Community. Third at the Southeast Iowa Super Conference, which might be one of the coolest conference names in Iowa, but finishing behind Danville and Mediapolis, but taking down Van Buren. They are underclassmen heavy, led by Ty Muniz, who is leading the way for Columbus Community. A few teams on paper that can give Columbus a run for that second place spot. We'll start with 19th ranked Maquoketa Valley, led by Matthew Shaw. We've talked to him about him a lot this year, but he needs some help if this team's going to upset Columbus. They also just got taken down at the Tri-Rivers Conference meet by my next sleeper pick, unranked Starmont. Just upset them again at Tri-Rivers Conference. If they can run like that again, I do think they can have a real shot at Columbus. They just need their 5 to move up a little bit more, and they legit can do so. Other spoiler, I'm going to go my alma mater, Central Elkader, running really well, being Upper Iowa Conference champions. Congratulations, Coach Bowder, led by Gavin Holst there. But Springville, Columbus Community, Maquoketa Valley, Starmont, Central Elkader, your 5 teams in the mix at North Lynn.
Yeah, I'm going to let you pick first on that.
Yeah, I'm going Springville to take the win, and then I'm going upset city. I think Starmont, you ride the hot hand, big run at Tri-Rivers Conference. Give me Starmont to get second.
And I'm going to go with Columbus Community. They were one of my new teams to the Exchange Zone early in the year. It's been up and down for them, but I think they're going to make it to state meet.
That's a good pick. They've been consistently in the mix all year, more known about versus Starmont and even Maquoketa Valley. But good pick with those two.
To Pleasantville.
Pleasantville.
So we reached the halfway point.
Is this one you or me?
It's you.
Oh, goodness. All right. I think I missed this one on the super deep. Well, hang on.
Was I supposed to do this one?
It's all right. On the girls' side, this is probably one of the sites that's the most straightforward. On the girls' side, on both sides, it's Earlham and Linville-Sully as the projected top teams to advance. Pleasantville might give Linville-Sully a run on the girls' side, but I really don't think so. Earlham and Linville-Sully are two outstanding teams. I don't think anyone's going to give them a run. We'll talk a lot more about Earlham next week when we talk about the state championship podium conversation. Boys' side, same thing. It's Earlham and Linville-Sully. I could not find a team on paper that could give either of those teams a run. So I do think it's going to be a sweep for Earlham and Linville-Sully on both sides.
Couple things to note here. Both Linville-Sully and Earlham are coming in extremely hot on the girls' side. Earlham beating Madrid. Linville-Sully upset English Valleys last week at the SICL conference meet. So these two teams are extremely hot right now. They're riding a lot of momentum. I love that they're in the same site, and I think both of them have a chance to podium. And I think 1A girls is wide open. I mean, Madrid just got beat last week. We'll talk more about it, but these two teams can really fuel off each other here, and I think it's going to be a really close battle there between those two. I'm going to take Linville-Sully to win this one.
All right. On the girls' side or boys?
Or excuse me, Earlham to win on the girls' side.
Yep.
Earlham to win on the girls' side and the boys' side.
Gotcha.
I was thinking about English Valleys. I was looking at something on English Valleys. But no, I think it'll be close, though. I mean, I think Linville-Sully's really quality team.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I've got to see them a few times. They look the part for sure. On to Regina.
Yep, that's me. So, this is a really interesting region. There are 3 ranked teams at this one. We have English Valleys, number 4. We just mentioned them, the runner-up in this SICL conference meet. You've got number 15, Danville, and number 20, Iowa City, Regina. Kyle, when I saw these pairings come out, I immediately looked and I was like, who's going to come through and take that last spot? And I think I'm going with Regina in this one. I think they've got more depth than Danville. I think they've run a more difficult schedule than Danville. And I think with that experience in those two situations will propel them to the state qualifying meet site. The other thing you'll notice on the screen here is the depth of Regina. And it shows there, it looks like predictions show all 7 of Regina's runners in front of Danville's 5th runner, which we've always tend to lean towards that on the 1A side.
Man.
But it's going to be close.
It will be, absolutely. Man, and how many scoring teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 8 scoring teams.
Yeah, less than half of the scheduled teams on this list.
Man, yeah, I think you're right. I think that favors them on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
So there you go.
Wild.
And then on the boys' side, you've got a 4th-ranked Danville team and a 10th-ranked Van Buren County team. I don't see much else after that. Do you have anyone else?
Dark horse sleeper, Dyersville Beckman.
Okay.
They've been pretty solid the last couple years. That's the only team that I could find to give these two a run. But Danville and Van Buren are pretty darn good on the boys' side.
Yep, and I think they'll both advance out of this one. I want to know more about Danville's boys' team. Haven't seen a lot of their full lineup this year. I know they've been up and down. They've been as high as 4th in the rankings and as low as 18th, all within the last month. There's a lot of fluctuation there, a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. So this will be a good test for them in Van Buren.
Yes, it will. Also, breaking news on the podcast, Kyle can't read. The Starmont one says girls only. They're merged with West Central, and they are 2A. So I'll go with you in Columbus community on that pick back there, but let's head to Ridgeview. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
2 to go in 1A.
2 to go, 1A. We'll start at Ridgeview here. Number 10, Lewis Central. They are the Lewis Central. Sioux Central. They are the Twin Lakes runner-up to Alta Aurelia. Linnea Bloom is their leader, but I think their pack is what makes this team tough to beat. They did, again, just take down Alta Aurelia, who is ranked number 12. They're the second team on paper Alta Aurelia won the Twin Lakes Conference Championships behind their standout Nora Peterson. We know who she is, what she's capable of. Can their 2-3 mix it up with Sioux Central's 1-3? That'll determine who's going to win this meet. On paper, Ridgeview coming in ranked number 18 is the one team that could give these two a run.
They're dangerous. The Ridgeview Raptors.
Ooh, that's a cool mascot. They are the Western Valley champs led by Addison Tesh. No seniors on this team, but can they find a way for their 3-5 to mix it up with Sioux Central and Alta Aurelia's 3-5? Very well, we'll put them in the mix to go to Fort Dodge.
I don't think so. I don't think they have quite enough there, but they've had a really good season. Ridgeview's beaten a few good teams. They've competed with IKM, Tri-Center. Some of those teams that we've mentioned are in the mix here. But Sioux Central just beat Ridgeview by 40 a couple weeks ago, so I just think that gap's too big, and I'm going to take Sioux Central, then Alta Aurelia in that order.
Yeah, I think it'll be close with those two. Yeah, I agree. Ridgeview probably not going to pull the upset here, but they're, again, a team without any seniors. I look for them to be in this conversation next year. On the boys' side, we got the Ogden Bulldogs ranked number 2. They look impressive. I think gotten better every single week.
They look really good right now.
Dominant. They've improved all year. Jude Benslow's their lead dog for them. A great low stick. Absolutely podium contenders next week. We'll save that conversation about them for then. Number 8, Sioux Central. They are the Twin Lakes champions. Can they hold off Sibley Ocheyedan? They've battled numerous times this year. They've won by 20, and they've also lost by 1. Tough to say how that's going to shape out this week. Sibley Ocheyedan coming in off a tough conference championships. They finished last in their conference, but Siouxland Conference is a pretty tough conference. Ben Byers is their leader, but they need their 3-5 to have a pretty big day to pull off this upset. I'm going Ogden and Sioux Central to move on. Not super comfortably, but fairly comfortably.
I agree. Totally agree. Ben Byers, he'll have a good state meet moving on individually, but I think too much depth. That Sioux Central team is really deep for a 1A school. I like their team, and then obviously you've got Ogden, who's maybe the best team in 1A right now. I think they're definitely in the conversation for top 2 or 3, and I like those two. Lake Mills, I would say, still has the advantage, but I think Ogden's closing it as of right now.
Man, that's going to be a fun one. I agree with those two. Ankeny Christian, who we'll talk about here at South Hamilton, looks really good. Earlham's looks solid. Woodbine,
Yep.
you name it. There's a ton. It's about 6 teams there that are pretty solid. I think you're right, that the door is open. Let's go to South Hamilton. This is another one that I think it's 2 teams that move on fairly easily. It's number 8, Martinsdale St. Mary's, the POI Conference champs, led by Carson Obenreiter and McLean German. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. They're a deep and balanced team. I think they'll be tough to beat and move on fairly comfortably. Grandview Christian coming in ranked 13th, 4th at the Heart of Iowa Conference. Very solid at 1-2, led by Lydias, Lydia Ives and Lydia Parley. They struggle 3-5, but as we just saw in the other site, when you only have 8 scoring teams, I don't think that hurts them as much and gives them a great shot here to advance pretty easily. Martinsdale St. Mary's and Grandview Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Martinsdale St. Mary's is also an interesting team. They've been up and they've been down on that girls' side. They've been as high as, I think, 4 or 5 as well. Kind of in a slide right now. So I'm interested to see how they come out and perform. I think they ran a little better at the conference meet than they had been. I think they had some sickness, I had heard. So hopefully they get things rolling because they were running very well there early to mid part of the season.
I agree. On the boys' side, we just talked about Ankeny Christian. I think we can save that conversation. They're a solid 1A team led by Alex Davis. They took down North Polk a couple weeks ago. Should move on easily here. I think the battle's going to come down between number 14 Baxter, who's the Iowa Star Conference champs. They are very tough, top three. If their 4 and 5 can keep that gap close to their 3, I think they move on pretty easily. Matt Richardson leads the way for them, but it's Brecken Fisher, the freshman, who's been a huge addition for the Bolts. Their toughest competitors, likely Grandview Christian. They did beat Baxter by 5 points way earlier in the season. They're a senior-led team that I think could potentially get the job done here. Super long shot, West Fork, but I am going with Ankeny Christian and Baxter to move on from South Hamilton.
Who did you pick between Martinsdale and Grandview Christian on the girls?
Those two, but Martinsdale to win.
You did?
You going upset with?
I'm going Grandview Christian. They just beat Martinsdale St. Mary's on Thursday last week by 2.
2 points?
So it's going to be a great
It will. Yep.
great race. And then on the boys' side, I'm going with Ankeny Christian, obviously, and probably Baxter.
I think so too.
Baxter kind of in a slide a little bit as well,
Yeah.
mid-season slide. So we'll see how they respond.
Yep. I think, again, that Brecken Fisher, the freshman, stepped up big for them. So
These headphones, I'm losing my track, my mind a little bit. Going no headphones. All right, are we ready for 2A?
I think so.
It's a different feel here without headphones.
Let's see. You want to start Monticello?
Look at this.
Oh,
Look at this, folks. The hats are in. We've got an IATC Exchange Zone podcast hat ready to go for our... Oh, you're going to zoom in. Okay. Look at that. Heading out to our trivia winners.
All right.
So if you've sent me your address, we'll have another Bloomer trivia here coming up in the midway point of this episode, so after 2A. But that's exciting right there. Good-looking hat. Really bright. People will see you out on the course with it.
reminds me of like the Baylor yellow.
Little bit. Yeah, it is a little bit like Baylor.
Don't worry, Cooper. I'll bring it tomorrow.
All right. So here's the format for the rest of the show. We're going to have this screen, this graphic. Couldn't do it for 1A because there wasn't enough room. It just was
It was
harder
too
than
much.
you think. Yes. So we are going to go girls and then boys in each class. So we're going to go Monticello to Unity Christian here and then back for the same thing with the boys. So there we go.
All right.
You've got 2A.
Perfect. You want to go that order?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like to lay it out Western Iowa to
I know.
Eastern Iowa.
I
So
know you do.
give me a few seconds between each one. We're starting with a good one. Monticello girls. That's where you want to start, right?
Yep.
Let's lead it off. Tipton, number 5, the RVC runner-ups. Solid top 3, but they do need to improve 4 to 5 if they want to be in that podium conversation next week. We know Steinus, but Laura Owen and Ella Hine have been absolutely outstanding for this team this year in getting them in that podium conversation. Number 8, Denver, had a really strong second half to the year, most recently with a third-place finish behind Sumner Fredericksburg and Hudson at the NICL. Reeve Ristow is a name that's been around for a long time for them, but this year it's Avery Trunkhill leading the way for the Cyclones. Number 12, Waukon, the NIC runner-ups to Decorah. Very tough test with Monticello, who I'll talk about next, who's ranked just behind them, 12th to 13th, as you can see on the graphic. But it's freshman Miriam Downing, who's been unreal for Waukon this year. Very solid 1-2 punch. We'll see if they can get it done this week. Again, that tough test could come from Monticello, third in the RVC, behind Mid-Prairie and Tipton. No Hallie Recker this year. Big name that Monticello does not have, has not competed for them this year, but others have stepped up tremendously. One, can Avra Caprone do it again for Monticello this week and help them take down Waukon? Number 19, we have one more ranked team here. Osage, number 19, the TIC runner-up to Forest City. Scarlett Barnes, I was like, man, she's got to be a senior. Nope, still just a junior. Feels like she's been around for a long time. But they're going to need a big day from Beefield and Sayer to have any shot at taking down Waukon and Monticello. And then my super long shot there is Union, but I do think it is those top 5 teams in the mix for those 3 spots.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tipton, Denver, and Waukon in that order. Tough to pick against Monticello, but I just have liked what I've seen from those 3 teams. Monticello, though, does have the experience factor. Several of these girls have been there before, so I think that plays into it. But I'm going to go with those 3.
I think so too. The Waukon boys have had success of late. Waukon girls have not had success in a long time, I would say. But you're right with Monticello having that experience advantage. But I'm picking the same 3 as you: Tipton, Denver, and Monticello.
I went with Waukon.
Waukon.
Yeah.
I'm going Tipton, Denver, Waukon.
There we go.
On to the boys at Monticello. We'll start with
doing girls at Old.
Oh, we're going 0-1.
Yeah.
All right,
A little
we're
different.
it up here.
A little different feel.
All right.
Does that mess up all your tabs
Nope.
if you did envelopes like me?
Yeah, no kidding. Nope, we're good here. O-line girls, it starts with Forest City, ranked number 3. They cruise at the top of Iowa Conference
Best meet of the year for them.
I think so, too. Without question, podium contenders. The plane is ready again to take Bethany Warren off to her volleyball game after the race. I think they might as well book their plane ticket to Fort Dodge because I don't see any chance they fall outside the top 3. Number 9, Sumner Fredericksburg. The NICL runner-ups to Hudson. Solid pack, 1-5, but they don't have that low stick in Hillary Trainer like a year ago. But that pack continues to shine. If it continues to do what it does all year, they will be just fine here and advance without much hesitation. Behind them, this is one of Jameson's picks here. Cresco and Jessup are 2 teams largely in the mix. Cresco 3rd at the NIC. Behind Waukon, they're a balanced team with only 1 senior, Lainey Peter. They match up well with their toughest contender, who is Jessup, who we just talked about a little bit ago. 4th at the NICL, a good ways off of 3rd, but this young team outside of Mackenzie Wilson is one that will be in this conversation for years to come. I do think they need Ella DeVore to finish as close as they can to that number 4 if they want a real shot at upsetting Cresco. 2 others potentially in the mix here, the Upper Iowa Conference runner-ups, MFL Marmac, and the UIC 3rd place finishers, who were just 5 back of MFL, is North Fayette Valley. I do think it's going to be the 3 of those top 4. I don't think those 2 are really going to play surprise here. What are your thoughts?
I like it. I think I'm going with Forest City, Sumner, Fred, and Crestwood in that order.
I am going with the same exact picks, and we have it up on the screen. Bigger gaps than I thought in between each of those teams.
Yeah.
And even Dyke New Hartford, I did not have them on our list.
Yep. That's good. Thank you.
Thanks for doing that, Joel. Where are we
Joel's
next?
ready for his picks coming up in 3A. You guys won't want to miss. Joel's making picks in 3A tonight, everyone. That's a scary thought.
I think so, too. Oh, my goodness. On to Pella Christian. He's getting nervous. Starts with number 2, Mid Prairie, the River Valley champs over Tipton. Very solid team, 1-5. Freshman and sophomore heavy. That might play more into the conversation next week, but Rachel Hostetler and Stutzman have led the way for them. Number 7, Pella Christian, a very balanced team led by Bailey Voss. They got 2 freshmen in their top 7. I think as long as Ski Boot and Menders can stick together, they should move on fairly comfortably here. Number 10, Hudson, the NICL champs. They are lethal with their top 3-4. Molly Hansen, Desi Lang, and Ella Steele have been running outstanding for the Pirates. Their toughest challenge, I think, is going to come from Grundy Center, but they were quite a ways back at that NICL. I don't see them taking down Hudson or Pella Christian. They just don't have the firepower to do it. I do think it's Mid-Prairie, Pella Christian, and Hudson moving on fairly comfortably.
I think Hudson has a chance to beat Pella Christian here.
They've looked really good as of late,
Yep.
to me, Pella Christian. I guess both have, but
I'm going to take Hudson over Pella Christian, but both move on with Mid-Prairie.
all right. Over to Red Oak, where we got number 1 Van Meter, the WCAC champions, taking down Des Moines Christian. Been rock solid all year. I think ranked number 1 pretty much the entire year, if not the whole year. Only one senior on that roster, Emma McCoy, but it's Laura Streck leading the way for them, along with Lizzie McCann. I do think they advance easily here. Next behind them, Albia, the SCC Conference champs, a veteran team with 4 upperclassmen in the top 5, led by McKenna Montgomery and Paige Popson. And then PCM number 11, the Heart of Iowa Conference champs, over Roland Story, led by sophomore Lila Milani, potential relation to Sydney. Who knows? PCM, Southeast Polk, not too far apart, so could be, but no seniors in their top 5. So PCM definitely going to be a team in this conversation in the future. I think it's those 3. I don't have any others on paper that are going to give them any sort of scare. How about yourself?
Yep, same thing. I do think Albia wins over PCM for second. By the way, I got a tremendous email from someone from Albia, and they had just a fantastic live stream of the South Central Conference meet that maybe rivaled St. Ansgar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, full commentary, full drone.
No.
Yeah, I'll put it. We didn't have time to go through it tonight, but that'll be on at some point in the last 3 episodes here because it was outstanding.
Wow, that's sweet. On to Unity Christian on the girls' side. They were.
I tell you what, Roland Story got
Yep.
a nice pick here, nice draw.
I think so too.
Considering, not saying that these teams aren't worthy, considering as centrally located as Roland Story is, could have gone to a Red Oak or could have gone to a Pella Christian. And that's the nice thing that Madison has brought to the table, and Andy here, of allowing the a 15-17 battle to occur way up in Northwest Iowa. Just wanted to point that out.
I agree. They were not afraid to send teams this year, without question. But it is Unity Christian, the host school, coming in ranked number 4. They are in that tough Siouxland Conference and finishing behind MOC and Sioux Center. I don't think they have a loss to a 2A school in the entire year. Now, it is tougher for them to race 2A schools, as you can see with the challenge of travel here. But they're led by Addison Liston and Katie Young, and I do think this is a team with a legit podium podium conversation. You just talked about Roland Story, the Heart of Iowa Conference runner-ups. Team has reloaded nicely. I remember years ago we've talked about this team, probably underperformed a few years ago. Again, reloaded with Sophie Bates and Gracie Haberl behind that leader and Claire Truesdell.
She's been around for a while.
Yes, she has. They're going to have a nice battle with Cherokee. Steffi Beisweger, probably pronounced wrong, has this upperclassman-led team and a great shot to advance after their Lakes Conference runner-up finish this week or last week. Dark horse team that I have is Lawton Bronson, the Western Valley Conference runner-ups, but I think it's going to take quite the day from them to upset any of those 3 teams. I have the 3 ranked teams moving on.
I do too, and I have Cherokee over Roland Story as the number 2 team out of this region.
All right.
Look at that.
To the boys we go. Back to Monticello. It starts with number 2 Denver. The NICL runner-ups, 2 Owine, very good battle. The difference there was Connell Sauser taking down Gomez and Miles Mathias. But Miles Mathias and Caden Knobloch have been absolutely huge for this Denver team. We know Gomez, but those 2 have been lights out for them this year. Waukon, number 10, the NIC runner-ups. 2 Decorah, not a lock here, but if their pack has done what it has done all year, I do think they advance just fine. Tipton, led by Clay and Caleb Bowman, second in the RVC.
They're running a lot better now.
I think so too. And they're a team full of juniors and seniors. And Silas McGee has been a huge add for Tipton this year. They're going to look to hold off Monticello. Again, on the girls' side, Monticello's the fourth team looking in, fourth team on the boys' side. And both ranked in the top 15 and the fourth-ranked team at their site. So tough draws for Tipton. They were 23 back of, or Monticello was 23 back of Tipton at that RVC. Not sure they have enough firepower to get it done. Aiden Altoff has been solid for Monticello, but it's going to take a pretty big day to upset any of those teams in the top three. And then the super long shot would be Vinton Shellsburg, ranked number 17.
Vinton Shellsburg's at Olwine.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I got them on there twice.
I think you did. I was gonna change your chart that you sent me.
Oops. Oh,
Okay.
Well, it's those four teams. They don't have a shot. They're not there anyway, so they don't have a shot.
I like Tipton. I like Tipton to hold that spot. I think they've got a little momentum going. Like you said, Bowman's running well, experienced team. I'm going to go with Tipton, Wakan, second, and then Denver to win pretty easily. Oh, go ahead and read that if you want.
Yep, so the forecast has Denver with 44, Wakan with 71, and then a close third with Tipton having 73, and Monticello with 88.
So Wakan and Tipton pretty close there. There's your Starmont.
There's my Starmont team. I don't know. I think they're 1A. Let's move them back. No, that's awesome. Thank you, Joel. Now where we go? Owine. All right, Owine it is. This is a team, number 3 Owine. The host is state title aspirations for sure, the NICL champs. I don't know if there's a team that has had a stronger second half of the season, just surged. Denver was beating them at the beginning of the year.
And they've been consistent. It's not just one meet.
Correct. Yep. So again, Sauser, obviously we know him for them. I think they advance pretty easily. Forest City, not sure if they can give Owine a run or not. Depends on what team maybe shows up. They've been very high. They've been medium. If they are that medium team, I think they do finish a comfortable second. They were the top of Iowa Conference champs over Lake Mills and Garner Hayfield Ventura, so that's a big day for them.
Forest City had a day last week.
They did.
Both genders.
They did. And so along with the girls book that flight, I think they move on pretty easily with the well-balanced team led by Silas Gann. 14, Jessup. They ran great at the NICL to finish third. Their senior duo has this team rolling. Again, some good depth, 3 through 6. I think it's enough for them to advance here. Again, not a team on paper I think that's gonna upset any of those three.
I agree. This is a really fascinating site for me to see two teams that don't race each other and see where that stands in 2A between Owine and Forest City as we're trying to put the pieces together of who's going to be able to win a state title here and who's going to be top 3 and top 5. Because these two teams are definitely in the conversation for all three, and this will be a really good test for them to see how they compare on different sides of the state.
Without question, that's probably the 1 and 2A I'm most looking forward to. All right, Pella Christian, the number 1 Mid-Prairie boys. The Schwartzendrubers, Yetzi, and Yoder have this team absolutely rolling at the right time. 3 seniors leading the way, and they make this a dangerous team next week as they won the RVC last week. Number 11, Anamosa, third at that RVC behind Tipton and Mid-Prairie. Top 2 is a nice senior duo, but they're going to need they need to do a great job pulling along those underclassmen. Nolan Weirs we've talked about, but also Jackson Burrell and those others. That young pack is going to be crucial for Anamosa to make sure they move on from this site. The host school, Pella Christian, Sawyer Minders, and Deacon Branderhorst are absolutely rocking for them. But this team goes as their pack goes. Incredible depth will give this team a outstanding shot to get to Fort Dodge. Behind them, 18th ranked Mediapolis, the SEIC Super Conference runner-ups to Danville. We know Schmigdahl, but what they're going to need is a big day from Kyle Luna or Caleb Massner in order to play upset. Can they hang with that Pella Christian pack? That's what we will find out this Wednesday, or Thursday for Class 2A. West Marshall, Davis County, and Grundy Center are the three long shots. I'd say West Marshall with the best shot at playing upset here.
Yep, I like the order, too. I like Mid-Prairie, Anamosa, Pella Christian on their home course to fend off the rest of those contenders.
I think so, too. Same three for me. Not as much excitement so far in 2A compared to 1A, but let's go to Red Oak, where it starts
This one's got some excitement.
number 5, Okoboji. Only a 3-hour and 40-minute drive.
Look at that.
That's wild to me. And they're
Good for them.
They're the top ranked team at this site. They are a team. Yes, it's a long road trip. They should still move on easily. They're one of the better teams from Northwest Iowa. So, number 5, Okoboji. We'll save that conversation for next week when we talk about the podium.
How about
contenders
them going into the Siouxland and winning last week?
Getting hot at the right time.
They looked really good.
They have. They're going to get tested, though, from Sheraton. I think this is quietly one of the best teams in Class 2A, and even across the state. I think a team that maybe hasn't got the attention they deserve. The SCC Conference champs. They don't race a super tough schedule. Everyone's had their eye on Northwest Iowa, Waukon, Owine, and those teams. I think Sheraton is going to shock some teams next week, and their first test is going to come on Thursday with Okoboji. Young team with no seniors, led by Brent Crabb and Lucas Anderson. Number 16, Sheldon, 5th in a tough Siouxland conference. 3rd on paper coming into this meet, but they are definitely going to have to earn it. As we talked about with Jameson, they'll get a test from Van Meter. 5th at the CAC or WCAC, behind some really good teams. Without their number 1, Luca Hulse. Hopefully they can get him back. That'll be a huge difference maker for them to get in that top 3. And then Red Oak, runner-up at the Hawkeye 10 to Lewis Central. Young team with no seniors in the top 7. Can Emmanuel Grass and Red Oak play upset here?
Emmanuel Grass, great name.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good year for them, too, at Red Oak. I think Okoboji wins this one pretty easily, actually, over Sheraton. I think Okoboji really took a big step this week. So, outside of that, Kyle, I don't know. I'm going to go with Sheldon to move on.
I'm going to go Red Oak. Very, very, very...
home course advantage.
Home course advantage. I think Sheraton's closer to Okoboji than what you think. Excited for that. We'll see next week how that one plays out. But I'm going to go Okoboji barely ahead of Sheraton and Red Oak for 3rd.
Okay. So we're going to see the difference between where you think the Okoboji and Sheraton are at and where I think they're at.
I think so.
Bulletin board material for Sheraton.
All right. Very cool.
They can be like Kirby Smart in Georgia.
Yeah. Okay.
No one respected us.
No one yeah.
I like Sheraton. Hey, what they've done with that program down there, unbelievable.
Right. I agree.
And there it is on the screen.
15 points, 46-61.
Okoboji, Sheraton, and Sheldon in that order, according to crosscountryratings.com.
All right. Last one here, Unity Christian. They're ranked number 4. They're the host site.
This is a tough site.
It is.
For 3 teams.
Yep. Keep it simple, I guess. Yes, I think the 3 teams up there that are ranked move on. Western Christian is that long shot, but Unity Christian, the Siouxland runner-ups to that very outstanding Okoboji team. Home course advantage should get it done here with Elijah Schreurs and Tyler Rosenboom. Spirit Lake, the Lake Conference champs. This team, I think, is very battle-tested, ready for next week. They'll need to close that gap at 5 to be in the conversation next week, but they'll get it done here, no problem. And number 9, Garner Hayfield Ventura. Sneaky good team. Top 3 here should advance all pretty easily. but they are the top of Iowa Conference third-place finishers. We know Zach Flatibo leads the way for them, but it's freshman Jonathan Schuknecht, who's been a major addition for Garner, Hayfield, Ventura. Again, I think those three teams that are ranked move on fairly easily.
Yeah, this is a tough one for anyone trying to crack the top 3.
It is.
Because these 3 teams are legitimate top 5 teams at the state meet. I think Garner Hayfield's I think they're really good. I also know that Spirit Lake can compete with anyone in that class because they have at times this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Unity Christian, we thought last week might be the best team in 2A, and then they get beat by Okoboji. So this is one of those other ones, Kyle, where we're really going to learn a lot moving in. It'll help us get ready for the state meet.
I think so, and
Yeah.
that's what's good about sending these teams
That
around.
Old Wine site and this Unity Christian site and the one in the Okoboji Sheraton battle will really kind of help us get ready for next week and let everyone kind of know where they're at in 2A.
That's right.
All right, we've got a break in the action.
Trivia time.
Trivia time for a hat on the line. Bloomer Trivia, go ahead.
The trivia question is, what year was the IATC founded?
That is easily accessible on the internet. So we'll await the official results. For some reason, I still can't see the live chat. Is anyone chatted tonight?
Oh, yeah. We got fantasy football updates, Buccaneers, Ravens updates. Mike Evans most recently going to the locker room.
Okay. Is it our same usual?
We got a lot of new folks in there.
Good. Welcome, new folks.
Spaghetti Ruin is one name. Good to see Madison Holton, M&K, Joe Knepp. That might be a Pleasant Valley name there.
Hey, I met some people from Pleasant Valley this weekend at the state middle school meet. Well, Pleasant Valley is not a town, by the way. The school, Pleasant
Yeah.
Valley. Outstanding people, parents of the middle school athletes. They're just a good town or good
Community.
good community. But good people for sure. And then, by the way, that state middle school meet was something else.
Yeah.
It was big time. 1,600 and some kids. Just terrific weather. Course is perfect for middle school state meet. And I can't wait to talk about that in a few weeks. But really cool stuff.
My brain's already hurting.
Can't wait. All right, do we have a winner?
We do have a winner.
Okay.
The winner was Kyle Johnson with 1969.
That is correct. Kyle Johnson. Go ahead and send an email to bdewey@waukeeschools.org with your address, and we'll send one of these bright yellow hats to you. And thank you for participating. Bill Bergen founded the IATC in 1969 in his basement with a fellow coach actually from, I believe, another state who had started a similar organization. I think it was in Kansas or something like that. And then Bill Bergen was at Waterloo Columbus at the time. He then went on to become a legendary coach at Iowa State. So there you go.
Man.
That's how it was founded and the year.
Not just trivia, but also knowledge update there.
For sure. All right.
I might need a drink of water before
Yep.
we go 3A.
We were going to think about taking just a 2-minute break and let some commercials roll. We don't have any commercials. So
Need some sponsors if you're interested in sponsoring.
yeah. All right. Joel, are you ready to go here?
I believe so.
I'll tee them up for you. Not saying that helps you or not, but
It might.
So Kyle's coaching in 3A, so he's going to semi-participate.
Yeah, I'll give you all the info, but I'm not going to make
He's not going to make any picks, which I think is a good decision. And we'll start in Class 3A with the girls, and Gilbert is the host site at Iowa State University. I hope that course is 5K. I'll be disappointed if a state qualifying meet course is not 5K.
I've kind of thought about this the last couple weeks. So when you go around your loop and you make that turn
Mm-hmm.
by the start line, if you just go up behind the awards board,
That might add what it needs.
either one or both laps, that would be all you need.
Yeah.
I get you're not going in the super nice grass on that turn, but I think that's the easiest solution on that course.
Could be. Yeah, I think there's enough room there, too.
Yeah, we did it when we hosted NCAA regionals. That's what we did.
I remember that. I remember it used to go up there.
Now, I get it's hard because you have teams at the start line, but
Mm-hmm.
I think as long as you have marshals there making sure to stay off that course, you'll be totally okay.
That's a good idea.
That's what they hire me for here.
All right, on the girls' side, we've got some Northwest Iowa teams coming down to Central Iowa. I'm excited to see that. Sioux Center coming down, the Warriors, and Coach Brock Lehman having a great year in Sioux Center. They are very good. Siouxland Conference champions, a big win last week, taking down some teams that we'll talk about, or that you've already talked about, and some teams that we've talked about, Unity Christian being one of them in that meet. They're very good right now. MOC Floyd Valley, number 11. Gilbert, the other preferred ranked team at 13. MOC Floyd Valley, the runner-up in that Siouxland Conference meet, to Sioux Center. They have a really strong 1-3 pack, but Sioux Center with Audrina Jones and Molly Isaacson. Molly Isaacson really coming on strong for Sioux Center, taking over that one spot while Jones was gone. I think Jones gets a little better this week after she's been back. So I like those two teams. And then Gilbert, the RRC champions. We did not see that coming.
No.
We both, or you didn't pick, Joel picked, didn't pick them either. I did not pick them.
No.
But Sarah Feddersen, really good middle distance runner in track and field for them, has gotten better throughout the year. Her first time out for cross country at 5K. She's running really well, and they are just improving. I think is the best thing you can say about Gilbert throughout this season.
Absolutely. Coach Kaupman's done a phenomenal job. Obviously, Emmy Danning out there. Two of their other top 4 returners haven't run yet this year. So for them to even be in this mix where they are is a huge credit to Coach Kaupman and what she's done. So I think they absolutely are in the mix here too. So big shout out again, Coach Kaupman.
The question for Gilbert in this one will be where their pack sets up. Right now, it's been 1 to 2 minutes off of their first runner, but it's a tight pack, so that helps them. It's not a strung out pack, so we'll see. But they're running well. And then Ballard, also in this one at number 18. They've been in the top 15 at some times this year, I believe.
Yeah, I think pretty much every RRC team has.
Annika Vance, the RRC individual champion, having just a sensational season for them. They were 34 points, though, behind Gilbert, the largest deficit, I believe, of those two have had this year. Gilbert seems to be trending up. Ballard maybe holding steady. I'm going to go with Sioux Center, MOC, and Gilbert to advance in this one.
Yeah, it will be a tough road trip for them. I know we talked about, they got to at least send one of those teams to Gilbert when we were having those conversations and thinking about it. So Gilbert and Ballard do have that advantage of not having as far of a drive. But you're right, it is going to come down to those 4 teams. I think it's going to be an exciting, very close finish between all of those 4.
Joel, who do you have moving on?
I'm going to go with the same ones, Sioux Center, Mock Floyd Valley, and Gilbert, too.
Oh, I like the Mock Floyd.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, let's go to Harlan out west. You've got number 5. Oh, did we have an NDI for that? Sorry. Let's look at that. And there it is. Sioux Center, MOC, and Gilbert in that order. Gap growing between Gilbert and Ballard.
Yeah,
All right.
I thought Ballard on paper would be closer, I guess, but I think they'll be closer than what that says.
Okay, let's go to Harlan. And in this one, you've got another rematch of Glenwood and Harlan. How about that? They loved putting them together at the state qualifying meet. Glenwood, the champs in the Hawkeye 10 conference, by 1 point over this Harlan team. So Glenwood got them pretty good a couple weeks ago. Harlan closed the gap considerably just to a point, and we'll see where we go with this one at the state qualifying meet. Grace Berglund, she'll be in this race. Madeline Bergman as well. But their number 5 runner, just to point out, did not run at this Hawkeye 10 conference meet. So we'll see if she's in the lineup. And Harlan, of course, Lindsay Sonderman, she had herself a big-time race at the conference championship. Runner-up at that meet behind Lily Denton of St. Albert. And Lily Denton's, I don't think she's lost all year.
I don't think so either.
But Sonderman ran extremely well. And she's looking to finish off a really successful career. ADM Adele, RRC 4th place team. Elliot Van Rooten, a freshman for the Tigers, is running well this season. Number 17, North Polk with Alexis Hergenritter, runner-up in that RRC meet. She's having a great year. And another team to watch out for is a conference champion, Spencer, the Lakes Conference champion with the Morey sisters. Peyton, 20th last year at the state meet. So a young lady with a lot of experience and success come to this meet. And, Kyle, this is a good one here. This is one where ADM has got to be careful. This is a team that's been known to be a little bit up and down. They've been running well the last few weeks, but an off day here, and they won't be going to Fort Dodge.
Right. You just mentioned North Polk just beat them at their Raccoon River Conference meet. I do think North Polk, ADM are maybe a little more battle-tested. Glenwood's only 2 teams that have beat them are Harlan and Lewis Central.
Mm-hmm.
Harlan's only loss on the year is to Glenwood. So now that's not saying that they don't run a great schedule. They're still very, very good teams, but it's going to be a fun battle with all 4 of those and potentially even Spencer.
All right. I'm going to make my picks, and I think Adele is excuse me, I went Glenwood, Harlan, and North Polk. Did I have that right? Yeah, I do.
So.
North Polk ahead of Adele at the RRC meet.
Yep.
I'm going to go North Polk to go on to the state meet. Joel.
I would have to agree with you. I think North Polk is going to go ahead of ADM Adele, and then I agree with Glenwood and Harlan too.
Okay. Do we have that one?
Yeah.
We do. And there it is right there. What do they have?
Glenwood.
Oh, they've got Adele moving on.
Spencer's a lot closer than I thought.
Yeah,
and even
Spencer.
Even Heelan.
Spencer is dangerous with the Morey sisters in this one. Yeah, interesting setup here in Harlan. All right, let's move on to Pella. And this is one where we've got 3 favorites, pretty clear. Pella, obviously, Little Hawkeye Conference champions, the number 1 team in 3A, arguably the number 1 team in all classes in the state of Iowa. They will be looking to move on to the state meet. The question is, will they perfect score this meet? I don't think they will, but I think they'll probably put 4 or 5 in the top 7 or 8, would be my guess.
I think it's projected at 17 points.
Is it?
So you're not far off.
Okay.
But they very well could.
Very well could in this meet.
Absolutely.
And in this one, you've got Fort Madison. This is a team that at the midpoint of the year was just super hot. I think they got up to 3rd by the IATC. They're running well, but this is going to be a different level of competition than they've seen this year. And I'm excited to see how they handle it. Super Iowa Conference champions, or the Southeast Super Conference champions, 21 points. This is the team with the patented Cedar Falls boys spread.
Yep.
30. It'll set 15 to about 35 seconds every meet. And I'm excited to see where that pack sets up here. And then winner set, the runner-up in the RRC, the Raccoon River, Ava Hope, Macy Smith, and the Bach sisters, really strong 1-4 runners. It's just a matter of number 5. But I don't think that 5th runner will impact them in this one to advance.
No, and it's unfortunate for them. Their previous number 5 all year, I believe, is done for the year. So a new number 5. She ran great at the Raccoon River Conference meet, held on to still get 2nd. So unfortunate for winner set, but I agree with you that they still advance. There's 3 teams here that are pretty strong.
And watch out for Washington there with Iris Dahl, the conference champion. This is a team that was second in the Southeast Conference. But I'm going to go with Pella, Fort Madison, and Winterset in that order.
I'm going to go with Pella, Winterset, and then Fort Madison.
Okay, and I don't think that's a long shot, especially in a smaller meet like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good pick. I do think that Fort Madison-Winterset gap will be very tight.
And both have good packs. That's 1 to 4 with Winterset, 1 through 5 with Fort Madison.
I mean, yeah, if Fort Madison or if Winterset's top 3 get in front of Fort Madison's 1, which could happen, that will help them tremendously. All right, we ready to move on to Solon. Solon, number 3, number 8, and number 9. This is one of those where, you look at it and you think it's a shoe-in for the top 3, but not so fast because we've got a Storm and Pointer, Center Point Urbana team that is running very well right now with Grace Essling. Is there someone running consistently as good as her? I mean, she's probably not going to compete for a state championship, but in the races she's running, she's been so solid, and she's won some really big races.
Right, WAMAC champ.
WAMAC champ. I think she won the big one, the Eastern Iowa Classic, with some 4A schools at Seminole Park a few weeks ago. She is running so well, and it looks like it's having an impact on their team.
You didn't have your JV state graphic at Seminole Park this weekend.
I didn't?
No.
What?
You didn't have a graphic for the JV state meet at Seminole Park.
That's right. Sign up for it.
Sorry, threw you off.
But anyway, Center Point Urbana, we're going to start with the bottom and go to the top here. How's that sound?
All right, different.
All right. Center Point Urbana, they had a good day the other day. 5th in the WAMAC, 4 back from CCA, 20 back from this Marion team. So that's something to note. This is not, in my opinion, Kyle, the 20th best 3A team right now. Now, these are older rankings. But that just tells you only 20 points back from number 9. So this is a good team. Obviously, Grace Essling, the WAMAC champ, on fire. Marion, another team that's run so well over the last 3 weeks. They've been very solid. 3rd at the WAMAC, 17 points back from Solon. Addison Dabrowski, she has just been tremendous this whole season for them. And I think they're also underranked at 9. I really do. I don't think they're the 9th best team. I think they could maybe have a chance to crack the top 5 or 6 when you get to state next week. Des Moines Christian, new to 3A, the WCAC runner-up behind Van Meter. They lost by 15. No Elise Erzen, and unfortunately, it was made public on Twitter. Went down with a broken foot in the middle of that race. Does not look like she will compete for the Lions the rest of the season. A huge loss for them. And we were talking before the show, will it impact them getting to the state meet? It definitely brings it closer for these other teams, and hopefully they can still get there because they've had a great year with Stella Pothoven as well. And then Solon, the WAMAC runner-up, led by Sydney D., 18th last year at the state meet with some experience. And then, of course, you've got one of those really good freshmen, again, for Solon and Kenley Mai. Great region. I think this is going to be 4 teams, and I'm going to throw Solon into this, within 20 to 30 points. I mean, Solon only beat Marion by 17 the other day. I think Center Point can be right off of Marion's heels. Really interesting site. I'm going to go with Solon, Des Moines Christian. I'm going to go with Solon, Marion, and Des Moines Christian to move on. I think Center Point's just off.
I'm going to have Des Moines Christian, then Solon, and then Marion.
There you go, Joel.
Upset.
I like it. Bold pick. And there's the forecasted total, Des Moines Christian. Now, you are accounting for errors in there, Joel, so are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So just looking at that, you take her out as the number 1 runner there. You're looking at about a 30-point swing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that puts them in around 95 and puts them into the danger zone. Kyle, this is going to be close. This is really going to be close. And I think Grace Essling wins this meet, by the way. She's predicted to get 3rd for Center Point.
Man, who's we got at 2? Oh,
Makokata.
Makokata.
She's really good.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Joel. Any comments there on that one?
One to just go back to Pella. Iris Dahl in that meet for Washington will be fun to mix it up with
Yep.
that Pella winner set
Mm-hmm.
group. Don't count out Washington Demons with winner set
Experienced
2 either.
team.
Yep.
Waverly, last one here. Mount Vernon Lisbon, the WAMOC champions, really having a good season. This is a state championship level team, Kyle, if it's not this year.
Correct.
And this is a very good team in Mount Vernon Lisbon, but Pella just probably too much for them and anyone for that regard in this entire state. Evelyn Moeller having a great year. Kirsten Swart. Decorah, the NEIC champs, they're in this one with Olivia Volkman, runner-up in that meet. 5 in the top 11 at the conference meet. 2 sophomores and 3 freshmen in their top 5 for Decorah. CCA, Wahlert Catholic, Williamsburg, and an unranked Clear Lake team. We should just get our hat out, draw something out of it, because I think you could pick any of these teams to move on. CCA, 4th at the WAMAC, led by 2 veteran runners, Kira Baker, Reagan Wyant. They run an extremely tough schedule. They run a 4A schedule pretty much, Coach Robinson does at Clear Creek Amana. I like that in these types of meets.
Yep.
Wahlert Catholic, always a tough one to get a read on. They were 5th at their divisional meet with Lucy Murphy, and their 2 through 5, Kyle, had a 17-second spread behind Lucy Murphy.
I say.
So that's dangerous.
Yes.
You got Decorah, we mentioned, run really well at the conference meet. And then Williamsburg, 6th at the WAMAC, 15 back from this Clear Creek team. 3 freshmen in their lineup in a really good one in Channing Becker. And then Clear Lake, the team unranked, who just has caught fire here lately. The North Central Conference champions, Addison Dawn, the conference champion. I think she might win this meet here today, or this week, 29th at the state meet last year. Sailor Schmidt running well for the Lions. I have like 6 different picks on this one. I don't even want to make it. I'm too nervous.
And it's crazy. And, you got to think, too, Decorah, no Amelia Rowe. That's a huge piece for them. Clear Lake, Reese Brownlee not running for them this year.
Yep.
So, with those 2 pieces really changes the dynamics of those teams, because I think Clear Lake was a preseason top 10. Decorah, I think, was like preseason 12 maybe. So imagine what this Decorah team would be with Amelia. But no, did you do a forecast on this one too?
Yeah, sure did. Let's put that up there
this
first.
This one's going to be
Make me
wild.
feel better about my pick. Holy cow, Clear Lake predicted to get 2nd, the non-ranked team.
I'm going to guess it has Brownlee. I don't know if you removed the inactive from the last. You did?
Yeah,
okay.
he did.
All right. Wow. That's crazy.
So I went with MVL, Decorah, and Clear Lake as my 3 teams.
I'm going to go Mount Vernon, Clear Lake, and then Clear Creek, Amana.
I like that pick. Clear Creek Amana was right there for me. Man, that's tough. That is really, really tough. Clear Lake, in my opinion, is probably going to put 2 people in front of some of those teams' first runners. But Clear Creek Amana, they that battle-tested schedule, and it's difficult.
That'd be a fun one.
That'd be a fun one. Let's go to the boys in Gilbert. And this is going to be one where you've got the number 1 team in the state. Gilbert, no Tallman, no problem at the conference meet. You were at it. They're just on another level than everyone in 3A. I know you compete in it.
Yep.
But you appreciate good running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I talked with Coach Thomas after the meet, and, just so much respect for what he's built there. That's just
They
incredible.
didn't have their number 2 runner.
Correct, and still put up 19 points is just unreal.
Yeah, and Preston Stensland had a great race for them. He really rose to the challenge without Tallman, took the number 4 spot there. Usually they're 5 or 6, and he got 4th in the meet. So Crazy.
That's
Crazy.
unreal.
Sioux Center, number 10, coming into this one third at the Siouxland. 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores, Kyle. You do not see that with highly ranked boys teams very often. This is a really young Sioux Center squad that has had a great season on top of it. And they've got Caden Cooker, of course, and Matthew Dom. Watch out for that name. Freshman Matthew Dom.
All right.
It's on my envelope. MOC Floyd Valley, 11. In this one, they were 4th at the Siouxland. Only 5 back from Sioux Center. And they've got sophomore Isaac Hommel, 8th in the conference. By the way, no Trevor Mirande this year for MOC Floyd Valley. Did you notice that?
There's, I think, Sioux Center and MOC both had some guys from their top 7 ran at the state meet last year.
He was the Siouxland Conference champion last year, Trevor Mirande, not running this year for MOC. And then Nevada. Tough draw for the Cubs. Nice that it's close by. But as we get through these, there's probably some sites that would have fit Nevada better. But I think they're going to be in the mix here, Kyle, because this is a really sneaky Nevada team. One thing that maybe hurt them a little bit, and you've been tracking this, is they haven't had their number 1 runner the last 3 weeks. He ran the other night, and from what I've been told, it just kind of took it easy. If he's healthy, they can get second in this meet, in my opinion.
I 100% agree. I think they're one of the scariest teams on paper.
You were saying that long ago, that you wouldn't want to have Nevada in a region.
They're gonna be tough to hold off. Especially, I think they also held out. They're 3, 4, or 5 in one of those meets too. I think it was the North Polk meet. If I figured it right, they would have been within about 10 points of us on that day, and I think they're getting better each week. You're 100% right. Nevada is in the conversation here, not only for third, but I think potentially even for second too.
And we'll see how they fare. Storm Lake, another team coming down, long trip. Lakes Conference runner-up Joe L. Ramirez Pera, having a great year, 3rd in the Lakes Conference. And Jacob Mills for Storm Lake running very well for that squad. I'm going to go with Gilbert Sioux Center in the upset of the year, the Nevada Cubs out of nowhere coming in for an MOC Floyd Valley team that's really good and maybe beating them by 2 to 4 points.
All right. Close. I don't know if you did this one on the forecast or not.
No.
It's all right. I'm curious who you got back there.
I got Gilbert, Mock Floyd Valley, and then Nevada.
Nevada. Very good. So you like Nevada too? Yeah. It's a dangerous team, and they're young. They're just going to lose, I think, 1 guy. But Sioux Center, I like them. Solid. MOC Floyd Valley without Mirande. We'll see how they go here in this region. Harlan. We've got Grinnell, who, Kyle, if there was a team of the week of the season, the entire year, we've had some big ones. They're in the conversation, what they did. They pull a massive upset at the WAMAC Championships. They go over there and they beat Mount Vernon Lisbon. Huge upset. They have Liam Kreitz and Cadell Connor, both in the top 6. What a year for the Tigers. If you remember back to the preseason show, I called this Grinnell team to be very dangerous in 3A. Mm-hmm. You've been high on them all year quietly. And, I don't know where they'll finish at the state meet, but an unbelievable week for them.
That was the performance of the year for them. You're exactly right. And taking down number 7, Clear Creek Amana. I know Mount Vernon Lisbon didn't have their number 3, but I don't think it would have made. They're still either way. They're either still in the it's still
they
a close
have so
race.
Much depth too.
Right. So
and it would, man. I think MVL probably will beat them at the state meet. I'm not gonna fully predict that now, but regardless, incredible day for Grinnell. I was so shocked when I pulled those results up. But they've been good all year. Sneaky good. ADM in this one, the RRC runner-up, Torrin Timmerman, 10th. They've got a really good 2 to 5 runners as well that set up in a tight pack. Mm-hmm. Carlisle, number 15. Can they keep that streak of going to the state meet alive here? Cale Streeter and that crew. we'll see in this one. I don't know, Kyle. I think this is going to be a tough matchup for them. North Polk, though, 43 points behind Carlisle at that conference meet. I did not see that coming. Carlisle seems to be trending in the right direction at the right time. Spencer's in here as well, third at the Lake Conference. They didn't have their number 3 in that meet. I like Grinnell, Adel, and Carlisle to move on from this one. I think Spencer is the team to watch out for here.
I think you're right on Spencer, especially with North Polk and Carlisle just at the Raccoon River Conference meet. But Carlisle gets better at the end of the season every single year. It's who they are. It's what they are. It's a testament to what they've built. And they've got Wallstrom back. He's slowly getting better each week. So they're dangerous too. I don't know if they'll quite give ADM a run. But, that's 3 solid teams right there with Grinnell, ADM, Carlisle.
Joel.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you with Grinnell, Carlisle, and ADM.
Okay. Pella. You've got Pella, number 2. They come off a 4th place finish, the Little Hawkeye Conference meet. I was really impressed with their race without Devin Brown at the conference meet. I thought they had some guys really step up for Pella. I think they can get him back and get him to maybe running where he was. I think this is a team that can still get second at the state meet. I think Des Moines Christian probably right now on paper I would say is the second best team, but I like where Pella's trending on the boys' side. You've got number 12 Bondurant Farrar, third at the RRC. Brady Sanger had his best race of his career in my opinion, actually ahead of Niall Davis, both all conference. I think if Davis and Sanger can run together, or Davis, in fact, gets back ahead of Sanger, be huge for the Blue Jays. Jace Reich, is that how you say Reich? Reek with a big race, too. I didn't think Bondurant had their best stuff at the conference meet, but with Brady Sanger running that well, it's scary, in my opinion, if they could all click on one day, possibly put them into a top 10, top 8 finish at the state meet if it all goes perfect for Bondurant. But they got to get through this region. Tough region for Bondurant. I think this is a tougher region than Harlan because Washington has been really solid this year. They're led, of course, by Andrew Reese. This is a conference championship winning team, Southeastern Conference champions. He was the conference champion individually. His teammate Taylor Alberton is running well. He went 1-2 in that conference. And then Fort Madison, second at the Southeast Conference. They closed the gap a little bit on Washington. Jacob Schottenkirk leads the way, 34th last year in the state meet. And then Oskaloosa also in this one. I think it's Pella, Bondurant, and Washington as the 3 teams in this meet. And I'm going to actually go with Pella, Washington, and Bondurant in that order. But I do think there'll be a big gap between 3 and 4. And I think that those teams will interchange at the state meet, as a matter of fact. But just the way the meet sets up, that's the order I'm going with.
I'm going to go with Pella, Bondurant, then Washington, but I think the Washington and Bondurant teams could flip or flop.
Is that one we have?
Yes.
Okay, wow. Sizable gap there between Fort Madison. And then you see there, Washington and Bondurant, only a 3-point separation there. And then Winterset, also in the mix at number 5.
Winterset's getting better every week. Kessler, it was awesome to see Kessler back to his true form at the conference championships. So don't count out Winterset this week either.
And they have some experience in this position too, and that'll play a part in a lot of these. That'll play a part in a lot of these meets as we see the state qualifying meets go on across the state. All right, last one. No, 2 to go. Solon. Uh-oh. Guys, I've lost my Solon sheet. Here it is.
Okay, so I'm ready.
And we've got DMC, Des Moines Christian, the WCAC champs. I'm excited to see Caleb Tenpass these last 2 meets. He's really come on strong. Central DeWitt, Kyle, this is a really good team.
They're scary good.
This is a team that could get a trophy. This is a really good Central DeWitt, 4th in the MAC conference, 4A conference. Caleb Olson, 7th in that league, which has some really good runners with PV, Bettendorf, Davenport Central with the Ryan brothers. To get 7th in that meet, there's not a lot of 3A schools that would have someone that could get 7th in that meet outside of a couple that you can think of off the top of your head in Olberding and Nauman, probably in Dunham, obviously. So really good performance for him. West Dubuque and Assumption. I don't know where to go with this one, Kyle. I think both have had solid years. But yeah, Davenport Assumption 69 points behind Central DeWitt at the conference meet. West Dubuque's last in their divisional meet in 4A. I think these teams are a little overranked, to be honest with you. I think I'm happy to see them have a chance to get to the state meet, but I do think there's some teams on here that might be in a little better spot than those teams, and it's a good opportunity for them to take advantage of the draw and to see who can win it out between those two. I don't know what you think.
They're almost
3A.
They're almost opposite of each other too. Obviously, Nauman the low stick for Western Dubuque. Assumption doesn't have that. They're a much more balanced packed team. So Nauman clearly is going to very likely get 1 point here.
Yeah, and we'll see him in 10 pass.
True. That'll be a good battle.
For the first time.
Yep.
John Murphy running well for Assumption this year. But I think Des Moines Christian and Central DeWitt, outside of Nauman, will put 5 to 7 runners in front of most of their team each.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah. So it'll be a good chance for them. I'm going to go with DMC, Central DeWitt, and Assumption to move on as the team picks here. But I think this Des Moines Christian Central DeWitt matchup is really going to be good.
Oh yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that one. Des Moines Christian, a little bit of a drive, but that's going to be, if you're in the area, go watch that one.
Yep.
I'm going to go Central DeWitt, Des Moines Christian, and Western Dubuque in that order.
Okay, and Western Dubuque putting the point on the board, probably with Nauman, so that always is a good starting spot for a team. And Waverly, you've got Mount Vernon, Decorah, Clear Creek, Amana. Kyle, this is one that is pretty straightforward here with the top 3 teams. Mount Vernon, Lisbon, coming off a little bit of a disappointment at the WAMAC. I'm not worried about them with Grady Olberding as the conference champ, 14 seconds ahead of Alex Torres of Vinton Shellsburg. I'm not panicking. No Seamus O'Connor, that number 3 runner you were talking about. Hopefully they get him back in the mix. They do. They'll be in good shape to compete for a trophy. Decorah, the Northeast Iowa Conference champions, best race of the year for Decorah. They really ran well. Garrett C. was 3rd, and he's running very well. 6th in the top 10 for Decorah. CCA, runner-up at the WAMAC. They're running extremely well to go along with their very competitive schedule. Brock Hillsman 4th in that meet. But I think here, Kyle, it's going to go Mount Vernon, Lisbon, CCA for 2, and Decorah for the 3rd spot. Clear Lake coming down, the North Central Conference champions, but this is a really tough draw for Clear Lake.
Yep, I agree.
Their girls and boys, they're up for a huge test traveling to Waverly.
They are. The girls have a pretty good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, I just don't know if they do.
Yeah. You got the same, Joel?
I do, yep.
Same order?
Yep.
Okay. Woo, I'm getting tired. 4A, our final class, and we'll start with the girls in Council Bluffs. Kyle, West Des Moines Valley, Northwest, Dowling Catholic. We'll have more of an open dialogue now that you're back in the mix here. And Dowling Catholic, those 3 teams on paper, the favored teams to move on. Ames at number 19 and Lewis Central, the contending teams here. Valley at the conference meet was 4th, so Northwest upset them. They were 3rd, 22 points ahead of West Des Moines Valley. Unfortunately, it appears Greta Bergman is done for the year for the Tigers. So I think that makes Northwest a clear favorite here. Northwest is really starting to look pretty good, Kyle. Emmy Danny back in the lineup, her second race back. She finished third on the team, but they put 3 girls in the top 10, top 11, I think, in this one, with Ella Jones, that freshman we talked about, Allison Sheriff, and then Danny. I think Danny probably makes another big jump this week. She looked pretty good. This is a good Northwest team, one that you were pretty high on to start the year. So I think they're the favorite, clearly. Dowling Catholic's getting a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And they run as a pack. They're one of my surprises of the year, and they're coming through with that. 7th at the conference, 35 points behind Valley, 27-second spread for the Maroons. They're running well. And then Valley, Autumn Mills with a good day at the conference meet. She was 14th as their top runner. But Northwest put 3 in front of Valley's number 1. Ames, the Alliance champs, No Turk or Risdall and Lewis Central. Got off to a good start, but they have kind of, I think the 4A grind has kind of hit Lewis Central. Ava Bussey having a good year for them. But they were 50 back from Valley and 40 back from Northwest in a head-to-head at Fort Dodge. Your thoughts here in Council Bluffs?
Do you think the loss of Bergman is enough for Valley to fall?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Didn't even need to finish the question.
Nope, I think they're a solid, safe pick to get through.
And do you think Ames still has enough firepower to, I guess if you just say it, upset Dowling?
Risdall would have to run and run well,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Being the top 5 of this individual race because of the significant drop-off the rest of the way there. So that would be my opinion.
All right.
Good questions.
Yeah, should be a good one.
Who do you have going
Man,
in order?
in order, I think I agree with you on Northwest now being the favorite.
Valley, Dowling, or Ames? You going Ames?
I'll put Dowling 2. Valley holds on for 3rd, with a not a massive gap above Ames, but fairly comfortably.
And I'm going Northwest, Valley, and Dowling in that order. Dubuque Senior. This is a site that has become a little more interesting here. Dubuque Senior, the favorite, clear favorite, MVC Super Champs, Divisional Champs. All 7 of their runners have just been running well all year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this matchup here between Hempstead, Liberty, and Prairie? We'll talk about Cedar Falls in a little bit. I think this is a fascinating matchup. Hempstead, I think, is the clear favorite, though.
Yeah, I think Hempstead, especially of late, has really turned it on. I don't foresee Liberty or Prairie giving them too much of a scare. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, but I think it's those 3 fairly comfortably.
I agree. And Cedar Falls had their best meet of the year at the divisional. Catherine Tomlanovich had just a tremendous race for the Tigers. 7th in that divisional. Olivia Lee, I believe, 9th. 3 freshmen. 1, 2, and 3 for the Tigers. Obviously with Charlie Gall, who got upset by Olivere at that meet. Cedar Falls looks really good right now, which just is crazy because 2 weeks ago we were talking about how we couldn't believe City High beat them.
Right.
And then they come back and they beat City High easily at the divisional meet. That just shows you cross country is a crazy sport. But I'm going Senior, Cedar Falls, Hempstead in that order.
Good pick. So I, of course, opened up the wrong tabs. Senior, Cedar Falls, Hempstead for me, too.
And in Marshalltown, you've got Centennial, number 4 in this one. They were 2nd at the CIML meet. Closer to Northwest at 3 than I thought they would be, and farther away from Johnston than I definitely thought they would be. Dealing with some injuries right now. I'm hoping they can get it all together for their sake at the state meet. You know, Annika Morehauser, runner-up in the conference, she looked really good down to the wire with Woodley, neck and neck the last 100 meters. She looked very strong for Centennial. DCG, runner-up. You remember last time we were on, I predicted a close battle between DCG and Peller. Give them a scare. What did it end up, 18?
I think so.
Lost by 18, but I don't think it was a scare. But they ran well.
They did.
They finally had everyone in the lineup.
Yes, you were not wrong on that. They definitely improved.
And, you know, in this one, I think DCG's the favorite. I'm going to go with DCG as the favorite in this one over Centennial. Davenport Central and Mason City. One of these teams is going to make it, Kyle. And one of these teams probably hasn't been in the state meet in a very long time. So, who you got?
Man, I still
is this an NDI one? No, we didn't do this one.
I still have Centennial as the favorite. DCG second. I'm going to take Davenport Central.
The Blue Demons.
For third, yep.
Okay. Yeah, Mason City was third, I believe, were they third at the Alliance? Yeah, third. No number one runner, Brogan Evans. And if I remember right, same thing happened last year around this time, right?
I can't remember.
Okay. So they were third behind Ames and Des Moines Roosevelt. I agree, Kyle. I think I'm going to go with Davenport Central as well. I think they ran a tougher schedule throughout this year. Cross country, Kyle, I don't think Mason City, I'm pulling it up, has ever made the state meet.
Wow. On
the girls' side. And on the boys' side, or on the Davenport Central side, I will get that one pulled up in a second. Pleasant Valley, number one in the state. They're at home at Crow Creek. MAC champs, Grace Bowl and the conference champ. Team looks great. We'll talk more about them later.
That's right.
City High, Waukee, and Linmar. I don't know, Kyle. All three of these teams kind of in a plateau, if you would. City High has been really good and then dipped at the divisional. Linmar's kind of just been steady all year. Waukee, it's been hard to read. I think City High is a step ahead, but where do you go with those two?
Yeah, I agree. You know, obviously PV and then City High is a step ahead the field. I think Waukee and Linmar are going to be a very close battle.
Mm-hmm.
Even like 1 point, or off a tiebreaker or something crazy between those two teams. I'm going to go Linmar. I think they've just been steady all year, like you just said, and a shorter drive. Waukee's got a bit of a drive to go out to the Quad Cities.
Yeah, that's a long trip for them. That's 3 hours.
So I'm gonna go Linmar at third.
Okay,
it's very close.
Back to Marshalltown. From the research I've done, Davenport Central and Mason City will be seeking their first ever state meet appearance.
That's exciting.
One will make it, because I don't see any other options here.
No. It'd have to be a really bad day for one of those top two teams, and we do not hope that happens by any means. But no, very exciting for whichever one of those two teams does qualify.
Southeast Polk, the last site, Johnston, Ankeny, Indianola, and then those are the three ranked teams. And we've got Des Moines Roosevelt in the home school, Southeast Polk. Sizable gap between Johnston and Ankeny. Johnston is running so well right now. Holy cow. They were as impressive as I've seen at a Southeast Polk course. They dominated that CIML conference meet. Alex Woodley, the champ. Huge race for Ellie Wharton. Fourth. Their number 4 runner was great in Peyton Crabb. I see this team improving every week. Ankeny is a scary team, Kyle. They were 5th at the conference. No Drew Beeson. Still got 5th. Medetsky's been great. Ainsley Keene ran really well. Sophia Graber's a solid runner for them. This is an Ankeny team. If they can get everyone back, They haven't been at full strength all year. This could be a team that could be in the top 4 at the state meet. And then Indianola, Roosevelt, and Southeast Polk. Jordan Brown of Indianola, good senior season. We haven't seen their usual number 3 for a long time, since Marshalltown. And I think that's why the dip in the rankings. Roosevelt tied Ames at the Conference Alliance meet. Lost on a tiebreaker. And Southeast Polk, a very young team at home. What do you like there in those last 3? Because I know your first 2 are the same.
Absolutely, and I it's Indianola for me.
I think closer.
Yeah,
than possible.
It's hard to get a read on Roosevelt with it not being a full strength Ames squad. That part's tough for me. I just think Indianola has the advantage here, and maybe 12 points will be my guess on Indianola over Roosevelt. So somewhat close, but not crazy close.
We need to start setting lines for cross country.
Goodness gracious.
Over-unders. Meredith Gentry of Roosevelt, runner-up in the conference in the Alliance meet to Claire Helmers. 43rd last year at the state meet.
Nice.
All right, we'll go to the last one, the boys, and we'll start in Council Bluffs with the Dowling Catholic number 1 ranked Maroons. And they breezed through the conference meet, which was all expected. Looking pretty good right now. They were without one of their top 5 runners. So we'll see if he gets back into the action this week. Northwest in at number 6. I think those 2 teams are very safe to advance out of this one, Kyle. Northwest looks pretty good right now.
I agree. They're, especially of late, I think, again, you talk about those 2 teams being the top 2 at this site, but Northwest, you're right. They've looked incredible the last couple weeks of the season.
And then we have an interesting setup here. Lewis Central at 10, Ames at 19, Sioux City North and West Des Moines Valley. Lewis Central, we'll start with them. They are the MRC champions. They've been solid this year in 4A. You've got Arkfield, Coots, and Lilly, their big 3. We'll see how this matches up. This is that big test for them year 1. Well, not year 1. They were in 4A previously to this in past seasons. Kind of been up and down. They're back in 4A. We'll see how they go. Ames had their best meet of the year. Finally, I think everyone in the lineup healthy. For the Little Cyclones, the Alliance Conference champions, Brennan Bovey, 5th in that meet. Lenkaitis was 6th, a 30-second spread.
Jeez.
For the Little Cyclones. They're very much underranked now at 19. Now, they were 19, but they didn't have everyone. So now they're underranked because they have everyone. And then Sioux City North and West Des Moines Valley to round out this field. What do you got?
Man, it's going to be a fun one. Fun one for 3rd between Lewis Central and Ames for me. I don't know if North has the depth. It's going to be fun to see Gutema in there with the Dowling boys and the Lewis Central boys. But the Lewis Central Ames did race at Ames already this year. So Lewis Central made the trip out this way, beat Ames by 20. Now they'll go back to Western Iowa. I think Ames is back to the team that they were that day. It does feel like Lewis Central might be slipping a little bit as of late, but I still think, sorry, Ravi, Lewis Central holds on for 3rd.
And I'm taking Ames to move on.
All right.
Joel, do you like Ames or Lewis Central?
I like Ames.
Likes Ames.
All right.
They
2
look
to 1
good
Ames.
right now. All right. Dubuque Senior. This is epic, what we're dealing with with Cedar Falls and Prairie. 4-point win for Cedar Falls in the super meet over Prairie. Only 1 point over City High. The other day, a 2-point win for Cedar Falls. And I thought Cedar Falls ran really well.
Mm-hmm.
And they only beat Prairie 29-31. We'll get a rematch again on Wednesday. Man, talk about getting the best shot. Cedar Falls is getting everyone's best shot on Eastern Iowa right now.
Agreed. And it's kind of funny, like, Dowling's like the target. They've won, all the
Yeah.
time, and it feels like everyone's targeting Cedar Falls.
Yeah. We'll talk a lot more about these two teams later. But one thing to point out, Prairie, all 5 runners under 16 minutes. 1532 to 1554. And that's their spread, 1-5.
And if they're at the soccer complex this week, that's going to be fast.
Yep. And then we go to what possibly is the toughest, not the toughest region, because Pleasant Valley is going to get the winner for that one here on the boys' side. But this is one that's one of those that's going to come down to 1 to 5 seconds. 10 seconds could make any difference here. Kennedy, Senior, and Liberty. I'll leave this, and then we'll go to the screen for this one. Kennedy, 20 points better than Hempstead, 22 better than Liberty at the super meet. Then Liberty at the divisional beat both of them. So, where's the computer take us?
All right.
Takes us to Liberty over Kennedy over Senior. Oh man, this is going to be a good one.
It will, and I'm agreeing with the computer. I'm going Liberty for third.
I do too. I like. You know what? Backtrack. I'm going Kennedy.
That's all.
I'm going Kennedy. State meet experience. Adam Gray, Buckholster. Liberty's got state meet experience, so Decker's running so well. This is just tough sledding.
And I think it's a race you run 3 times.
Yeah.
A different one's going to qualify each time.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how Cedar Falls and Prairie affect the team score because, as you can see, they're putting 6 to 7 runners ahead of a lot of these teams as 3 and 4 runners.
Right.
So it's going to push the score back. And, I mean, you don't see regions with that many points in the top 5 like that. Because there's just so many good runners.
Right.
All right. Let's go to Marshalltown. Norwalk, Centennial, DCG, and Marshalltown, the 4 ranked schools. Kyle, I think this is a pretty simple one in my opinion. Unfortunately, Marshalltown's top 3 are really good, but I just don't think they have enough with these depth schools, and these programs have a ton of depth.
Right, especially, maybe a few weeks ago, put them in that conversation with DCG. It's going to be a lot harder now.
We saw Elias Arbuckle for the first time for the Mustangs last week.
No, 4 weeks ago, I think, this is a legit shot for Marshalltown, but it's going to be very tough to crack that top 3.
And those 3 runners are going to move on to state regardless for Marshalltown. They went 2-3-4 at the conference meet, alliance meet with Preston Johnson, John Mollers, and Carter Nunn, having just a spectacular season for the Bobcats. Norwalk, the favorite here, and I think it's a sizable favorite on paper. Little Hawkeye Conference champs, having a tremendous season again. We've talked about Krillick and Anania, Sam Parker, Grant Wallace. Those are guys that have been around for a while. Henry Groos has been around. This is an experienced team that has had a lot of moments together, both good and bad, throughout these last 3 years, transitioning to 4A. So I like this Norwalk team. Centennial and DCG, I think, will be a good test there for second. And I think DCG is going to get second in this one. I think they're coming together at the right time and putting the puzzle pieces slowly back together. I don't think it'll ever be a clean puzzle this year for DCG, but I do think they'll give their best this last two meets, and I think they have a chance to be a top 10 team when it's all said and done.
All right, good pick for second there. Kind of maybe the more unknown, I guess, of those teams in the mix here, but I agree it is those 3 teams, I'll even join you with DCG pulling off the upset to get second.
Now, Centennial did not have their usual 2 or 3 runner in Davis Johnson at the conference meet. They had a rough night at the CIML meet, not their best, but we'll see. They've been up and down.
Yep.
You catch Centennial on one of their good days, they're tough to beat. Pleasant Valley, 2 to go, and Kyle, this is brutal brutal boys region.
Man.
And I don't think we expected the Pleasant Valley that came out at the MAC Conference Championships. Now, most people probably didn't expect it. We probably should have been more upfront that this is a team that has made the state meet like 20-some straight years. So you can't ever forget that. And they're always going to perform well at this time of year. They go out, they beat Bettendorf, they win the conference meet. This is a team, Kyle, that has a ton of experience. 14th consecutive MAC championship. MAC Conference Championship, 38 points. Cameron Gatto, the runner-up, best race of his career. Jack Perry was 5th. 2 seniors stepping up when it mattered most for the Spartans. What can you say about that effort from Pleasant Valley when their backs were against the wall?
All right, I think a lot of people had counted them out. I still feel like even before this week that they were a team that you'd never count out.
You don't want to have to go to their site for a state qualifying meet, even if they're not ranked.
No, absolutely not. And the crazy thing is Pleasant Valley was preseason number 9, Bettendorf not preseason ranked, Waukee preseason ranked 8, and City High preseason 15. So City High and Bettendorf and
that's a good point.
Clearly outperforming their preseason rankings. Tough. It's going to be tough for Waukee, that's for sure.
It is a tough draw for the Warriors. Not only these teams, but 3 hours. Tough sledding for them in this one. I think their best chance is to beat Bettendorf. But I think this Bettendorf team is really good too.
Right.
But I think Waukee is going to be close in this one with Bettendorf. City High, I'm not sure what happened this week at the divisional meet. They almost pulled the upset of the world on Cedar Falls. They had to have tempoed the divisional because the results just were way different than the super meet.
And sometimes teams aren't afraid to do that when you
60 points behind Cedar Falls, and a week before that they were 1 point behind. Man. Yeah, I don't know.
We do not know. We don't have any info,
No,
but
I just put tempo question mark. I don't know. Anyone in the chat know? They know what happened City High. So, anyways, moving on. Bettendorf, the runner-up in that MAC conference. 3 of the top 4 runners, A.J. Wiley, Andrew Heaton, and Ryan Heaton. They put 3 in the top 4. That Bettendorf team is tough. I fear for Waukee that Bettendorf might get 3 in the top 4. 3 in front of their number 1 at this meet.
Man, yeah. I'm with you. It's City High, PV, and Bettendorf.
Yep, in that order.
Yes.
Joel, you give Waukee a chance? You're a CIML guy.
I think I'm going to agree with you guys, actually.
Okay. All right. Last one. Ankeny, Johnston, and Indianola, the ranked teams. Iowa City West and Urbandale on the outside looking in. Not quite the team firepower at the top in this one, but some traditionally good teams here with Ankeny and Johnston. Ankeny at the conference meet. What'd you think of Ankeny? Think they're putting it together? They were 5th. Or excuse me, that was their girls. They were 3rd at the conference meet. Ike Smith back. He ran well, 5th. It just hasn't. The pack hasn't.
Right. Yeah. It's still not that podium contending team that we probably all thought at the beginning of the year, but still a better performance for them.
Yeah. And Johnston, traditional power here in the CIML, 4th and the conference meet. 23 back from Ankeny, so they'll get a chance to go again against Ankeny. Jack Crossland, just a really good year for him. 4th in that conference meet. Top sophomore possibly in Iowa right there. Jack Crossland of Johnston. Can you think of any off the top of your head? Super softs?
Yeah, 10 past sophomore or junior?
Junior.
He's a junior.
You keep thinking, I'll keep going. Indianola. This is the team you're really up in you've been questioning it all night before the show. Where are you at with Indianola, Iowa City West?
Man, I got to go back to my super deep spreadsheet because
is this a special spreadsheet?
It's got every week for the entire season for every team on it. Because Robidoux is the
Yeah,
the
he's
big
the wild
difference for
card.
them.
The freshman.
Man, I still think Indianola's got the slight edge.
I do too.
It's it'll be closer than people think. With Iowa City West, I don't know if Urbandale will be in that conversation, but I do think it's Ankeny, Johnston, and Indianola are the three that move on.
I think I agree with you as well. Having experience on Southeast Polk's course also is an advantage, just because it's a little unique. It's tight, it's hilly, it's really bumpy. It's just a different course, so I think that plays into the advantage of Urbandale as well. But Urbandale, I don't know if they have the pack. They got two good runners up front. So I think I'm gonna go with the same as you, Indianola. But that margin for third is gonna be close, I think, between West and Urbandale.
5 points, 10 points.
I'm gonna say within 15.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say within 15. Wow. We did it.
Just over 2 hours.
Just over
Not
2
bad.
if you count the mishap at the beginning.
Yep.
Then probably right on 2.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. It used to be 4 because we had 4 episodes. All right. My voice, my mouth hurts. My neck. My neck hurts. We did the trivia, so we're good there. Anything else?
I don't think so. Good luck to everybody this week. Should be nice weather. Should be great competition for everybody. Enjoy it. Have fun. Myself, I'm just thankful to have a team in the conversation, in the mix. I'm just very, very proud of the Blue Jays, where they've gotten to. But I think a lot of coaches are thinking the same about their own teams. So best of luck to everybody. Have fun, and I'm looking forward to recapping this next Monday night live again.
Wow. We only have 3 episodes left after this one. The season's flown by fast. Next weekend on the Exchange Zone, we'll be on here at same time on Monday, 7 o'clock. We will recap the qualifying meets briefly again, but it's all about the state meet, and we're going to prepare our listeners for those 15 schools and individuals now will come into the mix.
16 in 1A.
16 in 1A. We'll talk some individuals as well as we get ready for those individual state championship opportunities next week on the Exchange Zone. That'll be Monday, October 28th, barring my flight lands on time. We'll be on for an on-time start at 7. I fly in at 5:15, so it'll be quick transition to get here. But we'll be ready to go. If we don't get back on time, we'll have to go on another night.
Man, we got Tony Anania's commitment tomorrow evening, and he also says Robidoux will return.
Wow. Good information. That's what we need out of our listeners there.
That's right.
With that, best of luck to everyone this week across the state. Another unbelievable week of weather is on the plate for everyone. I still can't believe the weather. And I keep saying to everyone, probably said it on this show, we will pay for it in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy it while you can. Track and field probably will be miserable until the state meet. But let's enjoy it while we can. All right. Have a great week. Good luck. And we'll be back next week on the Exchange Zone Monday night at 7 p.m. for a state meet preview show. We need to get Jeff Linder on that show as well.
All right.
I'll reach out to him. We'll get him on from the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Good luck. Talk to you next week.